Okay, now before I get down to the business of my review of The Hunger Games, I have to tell you some things. No, I have not read the book. In fact, I had not even heard of The Hunger Games until this movie was announced and my friends started to freak out about it. But you know what? I really don't consider that to be a bad thing at all. I have the firm belief that a movie is a movie and a book is a book. If the movie, in addition to being good, is faithful to the book, hey, that's a bonus. If the movie is not faithful to the book but is still good, well, you can just see it as a different take on the similar material. And if the movie sucks and it is not faithful to the book, well, then that's good for everybody who wants to complain about it. Well, anyway, I was never really looking forward to this movie as it was first announced. To me, it just seemed like a movie designed to cash in on the Twilight franchise, and the marketing with the beautiful female main character standing between two hunky, uh, similar aged males seemed to be making that same statement. But as the news stories came in with the different casting, I mean, these are when all these highly talented people with and very who don't usually find themselves in low rent paycheck roles started to sign on to this thing. I realized this actually might be worthwhile, so I started to get interested in it. And yeah, so last night at the midnight showing, I did see The Hunger Games, and eh, it's a good movie. I liked it. Oh, for those of you who you don't know what The Hunger Games is about, it takes place in a dystopian future where every year there are two young people between the ages of 12 and 18, who are chosen to participate in the Hunger Games, which is basically a fight to the death inside this huge Truman Show-esque forest thing. And the main character of this movie is named Katniss. She's played by Jennifer Lawrence, who was so good in Winter's Bone. I love that movie. You should check it out. In fact, the first time you see Jennifer Lawrence in this movie, it actually looks like it could have been a deleted scene from Winter's Bone, which I found kind of amusing. And she's very well cast in this movie. She does a very good job. A similar performance to Winter's Bone. She brings the same kind of intense focus and dedication to the part of Katniss as she did to the part of Ree in that movie. And she makes a very convincing action star too. The other major characters in this movie include Peta. He's one of the males chosen from her district to fight alongside and with her during the Hunger Games. He's played by Josh Hutcherson, who's another very talented young actor. And other characters are played by the likes of Liam Hemsworth, the younger brother of Chris Hemsworth, who played Thor, and he's going to be the Huntsman in Snow White and the Huntsman, and a few other people whose names I can't remember offhand. Then the adult cast of the movie is also very talented. We have Woody Harrelson. He plays the alcoholic mentor of Katniss and Peta. Then there's Donald Sutherland, who plays the president of whatever this place is supposed to be, dystopian America, I think. And then there's Elizabeth Banks as seems to be the leader of the district where Katniss comes from, I believe. And then there's Lenny Kravitz. He plays another person who is trying to train them to fight in the Hunger Games. There are a whole lot of good actors in this thing, and they all give good performances, but somehow the movie just doesn't quite become what it could be. Let me explain. The idea of the Hunger Games is that not only is it a fight to the death, it's televised. It's this huge, ultra-violent reality TV show. We've seen movies about stuff like this in the past. I mean, I compared the location where they fight to the Truman Show, and the Truman Show covers some of the same things as did other movies like, say, Battle Royale, which I haven't seen, but I've heard covers much of the same subject matter. But there are some things about the Hunger Games that are a bit different than some of the other things. I mean, we don't get a lot of reaction shots from the audience during this thing. Like, in movies like The Truman Show, or other movies trying to capture the same subject matter, where they're constantly being cut to the seeing somebody watching like, oh my God, what just happened? Look at what that happened. We don't get a whole lot of that here. Most of the reaction shots we see in the Hunger Games are from the people who are running the thing. So we don't really get a sense of what the people who are watching this think of the contest. I mean, it's obviously got big ratings. There's a nice discussion early in the movie where they say that if people stopped watching this thing, they would stop doing the Hunger Games, which really could have been a very interesting thing if they had developed that further. But I guess since the movie wanted to focus so much on the action sequences within the Hunger Games, they decided, and they probably didn't want the movie to run too long because the 13-year-olds who this movie was probably made for aren't assumed to have that sort of attention span. They really kind of miss out on the opportunity to make the movie a whole lot more complex. Another example of that is that, well, the Hunger Games is a fight to the death, and I have to give the director and screenwriters props for going through with that. I mean, people do die in this movie. A lot of people die, and they're all between the ages of 12 and 18. But and they die on screen too. But somehow the Katniss, as played by Jennifer Lawrence, she does kill several people by herself, but she never really seems to understand what she's doing. I mean, she knows she's killing people, but we never get any scenes where she comes to terms with the fact that she has killed people who she didn't know, people who might have been friends with in a different time. We just never get the sense that she really understands the gravity of what she's doing. I mean, and Jennifer Lawrence could have easily done scenes like that, even if she wasn't given dialogue. She's a very talented actress. She really could have made this role great if she had a more complex script. And another thing, I mentioned that she doesn't know these other people who she's trying to kill, and quite frankly, as the audience, we don't either. The movie centered almost entirely on Jennifer Lawrence and Josh Hutcherson. I mean, and we sometimes get to know some of the other characters a little bit. There's a little black girl who Katniss befriends for a while, and she's given a few good scenes. She's another talented actress from what she does in this movie, but she kind of just shows up and then goes away, and their scenes probably are developed as much as they probably could be, but since we didn't really know anything about her before those scenes, the impact of her character isn't quite as big as others might be. And there are other characters here who probably could have made a major impact on the story if we've just gotten to know them more. I think the movie should have had a greater focus on the individual competitors in the Hunger Games. I mean, and these are talented actors. I mean, even the ones who I haven't heard of, when they show them in this movie, they really show that they could have had the dramatic chops to really make good characters. I mean, even Liam Hemsworth. I mean, he's a talented actor, but he basically doesn't say 2 words in a row until the very end of the movie, which is really kind of disappointing. But let me get this clear. I'm not saying this is a bad movie. I'm not saying I didn't like it. I like the movie. It's good. It's entertaining. It's more serious than the average teen fare. It's very, very much an entertaining sci-fi action movie, but it really could have been more than that. And hopefully when they finally do make the sequel, they'll try to take on some of the bigger issues that they were afraid to look at in this movie. Also, one more thing. When I was watching this movie, I mean, Gary, the director, I can't remember his name, it's Gary something. Well, he does a perfectly fine job of directing this movie. The action sequences are good, the camera work, although a bit fragmented in the early scenes, does a good job of looking at the action, but lots of times when I was watching this movie, particularly during the hunt scenes, I couldn't help but wonder, it's really too bad that Catherine Bigelow doesn't like to work within the studio system anymore, because she would have been the absolute perfect director for this material. I mean, sometimes the director really does seem to be trying to imitate Bigelow's style, and really think that had she been given this movie, it could have been a very, very good movie, instead of just the quite good movie that it is. So, it's a good movie if you're a fan of the books. I expect that you'll like it. I haven't read the books yet, but I imagine that the books probably get into some of those deeper topics that that I had previously mentioned about, but hey, if they're not in the movie, I can't assume that they were. I can only say that they should have been. Anyway, The Hunger Games is a good movie, a better blockbuster than most people are interested in seeing. It's probably going to make a lot of money, and overall, I say that's probably a good thing.